So I decided to do a turning kit project, and I picked up one of these dart turning kits. They include 3 darts, kind of like the ones you see here. It was a really easy project to turn. I made mine out of this pedalk wood, although I think next time I may try an acrylic. Just to see how that looks. We've got a dartboard in our house, and so I think it'll be kind of fun to make different sizes and shapes and even weights, right? They include weights that you can in there to balance it out. So stick around for the video. I'll show you how I made this, and as always, be sure to check out my website at woodlogger.com, where I'll post more detailed information about this project as well as other projects I have going on in my shop. So to get started on my darts, I've got here some African pedalk wood. It's kind of a reddish color, and I'm going to make all 3 of my darts the same color because I want them to have the same look and feel. So I've got these brass tubes that come with the kit. And what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to take that, line it up on my stock, and I'm going to go about a 1/16 to maybe an 1/8 of an inch longer on that. I'm going to strike a line, and then on my miter saw, I'll cut these to length. After that, I'll use I've got this handy dandy center finder that I picked up from Rockler, and I will mark each of the ends so that I know where my center is. It's going to be impossible to see this on the video, but after I've cut these, I've now marked these, I'm going to move over to my drill press, and I'll drill out the center, which is where ultimately the brass tube will go. So I'm going to work on that now. Okay, so I've got my blanks looking pretty good. I've got them cut to the length that I want. I've got the center hole all drilled out. Next up, I'm going to use these brass tubings, and I'm going to apply some stick-fast glue to that and insert that into the blank, set that aside, let that dry for a little bit. After it dries, I'll head back over to my drill press, and I'll use what's called a barrel trimmer. The barrel trimmer will actually trim the ends of the blanks because they're just a little bit longer than the actual tube length. So it'll trim the ends of the blank so that they're flush with the brass tubings. And that's needed so when you get ready for assembly, everything kind of lines up right and it looks good. And if you've done this before, you know what I'm talking about. If you've messed up, and it does look pretty bad. So I'm going to work on that next. Okay, so my blanks are all ready to go. I've got my tubes inside, they're secured. I've used a barrel trimmer to make sure that the ends are all flush with the brass tubing inside. Next up, I'm going to move over to my lathe, and I've got some guide bushings here. And the guide bushings do just that. They're a guide for when I'm using a skew or a bowl gouge. They let me know where to stop. So when you've got your blank and you're turning, you go only as deep as your guide bushing, and then that ensures that you don't ruin your piece. So I'm going to load my guide bushings. I can actually do 2 of these at a time, and then I'll still have a 3rd one that I have to do. So I'm going to work on that now. my blanks all turned now. I think they're gonna look pretty good. Next up, I'm gonna use sandpaper, and I've got this 5-roll sanding pack. It starts with a 150 grit. It goes all the way up to 600. I'm gonna work my way through each of those. After that, then I'm gonna apply a coat of this Tripoli Ultra Shine. It's really cool. It not only polishes and shines, but it also sort of stands as well. It's almost like an abrasive, but you work it into the wood and it looks great. And then the last piece is this stuff called Shella Wax. I'm gonna apply that after I do the wax, and that'll really make it shine. So I'm gonna work on that next. Okay, so I've got my blank here. It's all polished up, looks pretty good. Next up, I'm gonna add a little bit of weight. The kit will come with some iron here that you can use to add weight, and I'm going to make mine weigh about 14 grams. I've already pre-measured that on a scale that I have. We'll put the weight into the brass tube, and then on my pin press, I will push these two ends together, which will then allow me to do the final assembly of adding the stems and the tips to the dirt. So I'm gonna work on that now. All right, well there it is. I've got my dart. It's all finished. I really like the look of it. It's kind of an old classic style. Well, I'm not even sure what decade that would be. Maybe 40s, 50s? You know, I'm not sure. But anyways, I think it turned out pretty good. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out my website at woodlogger.com. I'll post more detailed pictures about this project and other projects I have going on in my shop.